The New York Times reported this. There was like there's a lot of these like single meets, right? Like speed dating and all this other stuff.
Right.
Dudes aren't checking out of dating because they're weak. They're checking out because the math doesn't add up anymore. Welcome back to the 1 Hour Network. If you're tired of the transactional games and want the raw, logical truth about modern relationships, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's look at this Boston singles breakdown.
They were really struggling with why men are not attending these events, and I had the same question.
First, let's consider that maybe the scheduling of these events is not opportune for the type of men you're trying to attract. So make sure that's not the problem. And then I'm going to tell you another problem that I think it might actually be with the men not wanting to go to these events. It is far easier for a woman to walk into a room full of women she does not know than it is for a man to do the same thing. That's in general. But second, for the men, it's a little bit of a competitive environment because you're creating a dating specific event. And so they're going to be there with men that they don't know. That creates a level of anxiety that comes from just kind of natural forces. So I think ideally you should do a men's event first, and then the following weekend do an event with single ladies with that same group of men. I don't know, that's my thought.
So I'm hosting a speed dating event, and like 9 women have showed up and only 2 males. Why? And like 7 males pay for tickets. So I don't know why. Why don't men come to speed dating events?
Men don't like coming to those singles mixers that like you hear women talking about where like, oh, there's no men showing up, because dating is a humiliation ritual for a lot of men. And the same can be said for women as well, right? But under patriarchy, when men are expected to be the ones to approach, they're the ones who like initiate that discomfort and oftentimes get rejected in some ways that are honestly like quite disrespectful and like just very demoralizing, right? Some people can't even handle one rejection like a week or a month. Imagine going to an event where the express intent is that you're going to be kind of approaching these people or whatever, or like talking to these people, which kind of means, again, like in your head, if you've dealt with a lot of rejection in that sense, you're going to get rejected by a bunch of people. That sounds horrifying. At least, even though going to bars and clubs literally sucks so much, at least it's technically not the main objective of the night. Even if that's like a cope to say, oh, well, I wasn't going to talk to girls or some shit like that, you can at least hide behind that cope. There's no cope when you're going to a singles mixer. Like, you're going to meet up with people. And I think the fear of rejection and just feeling out of place and feeling perceived is very strong, you know? Especially when you're using the bias of your past experiences, having horrible interactions with some of these like women where they really make you feel like subhuman. I've seen it. I've seen my friends reject dudes. I'm like, that was so fucked up. Legitimately. That was so fucked up. Like, you did not need to fucking like scream and yell like you had a knife or some shit like that. He was like complimenting you. I'm not saying that like all the times you scream and yell to a man getting up all up in your space is a bad thing. Trust me, okay? Like, I've seen the creepy dudes as well, but I feel like sometimes also I can see when that dude clearly wasn't trying to be a creep, but he's getting labeled as that. And you want dudes to like relive that many times in one event. Also, when like, you know that if you get rejected in front of one girl, it often affects how the other girls are gonna see you. Maybe that's just like me parsing through like people's dating complaints and like projecting that experience onto this, but that is at least like how I think about maybe not wanting to go to these things. Like, I've gone to like a few of them and everything like that, but like, yeah, the idea of getting rejected just back to back to back would suck.
Men always assume this, and I, for the life of me, do not understand. Anytime my friend and I invite guys to come to our singles events, they always assume that it's going to be 80% majority men. Like, they'll be like, oh, like, I think it's going to be a sausage fest. Like, I think I speak for most guys when I say, like, we're not going to come because it's all going to be other guys. That's not the case, ever. Like, I've gone to multiple singles events. I'm hosting singles events now myself. In every situation, it's majority women. And they're all really cool, fun, attractive women. In New York, women here, in my personal experience, they are very willing to sign up for events. They're willing to put in effort to make connections with people, both platonic and romantic. And I have found it not to be the case for men. So I don't know where that perception's coming from. If anyone has any idea, what is that barrier? The reason that we're reaching out to these men is because it's harder to get men to sign up for these events. And yet when we ask them to sign up, they say they don't want to sign up because they think it will all be men. And it's like, no, the reason I'm reaching out to you is because there is no men. Like, what is it? I don't understand.
Ain't no desirable man going to no speed dating event. I don't know who need to hear that, but before y'all keep wasting y'all money and time going to these speed dating events, don't do it if you expecting men that you would actually want to be there, because they're not. If there are any men there at all, they're definitely not going to be the type of man that you would want. They're going to be undesirable, but they won't be actual top tier, attractive men with things going for themselves. You know why? Because if a man is actually desirable, why would he need to come to a speed dating event? He wouldn't. Desirable men get women constantly, whether it's walking out the house, going to the store, going to the gym, going to school. They don't have a problem in the woman department. See, y'all having a problem in the men department, which is why you're at a speed dating event. But these men are not having an issue with women when they're desirable. They don't have a problem getting girls. You have a problem getting men. And that's something that you need to work on. But as far as going to these speed dating events and thinking that you're going to meet actual men that you would want, they're not going to be there. You'll be good if you even get any men there at all, even the ones that nobody wants.
Okay, I have to address these comments, like this one. To be honest, I have learned a lot in my comment section. I didn't know, I've never thought about the perspective of a man going to one of these events, honestly, like, and that was a genuine question. Me asking, what do men look for? Why don't they want to go to these events? I really wanted to know. And I think from these comments, I really got good insight on, why they don't go, what makes them stay away from them, how do they actually feel about singles mixers, and it's so interesting. And based on what this person said, honestly, I kind of have to agree. I think there's a lot of pressure for men sometimes to just be in a room full of women that just judge them. I think even when obviously me going to one of these singles events, I see men that just aren't my type, right? And I'm not going to approach them. I'm not even going to look their way. And then meanwhile, they have a bunch of women, but if they don't look a certain way or they're not up to par to what women our standards, then no one's going to approach them. So I do feel sometimes they do have a lot of pressure, and I understand why they don't want to come to these events. But based on these responses, I think I'm going to retire these singles events. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'd rather just go back to meeting people in the wild. And yeah, I don't think there's ever going to really be value in it based on what I'm looking for. I think it's going to be really hard. So thank you guys for the insight. It was really eye-opening. And I'm just going to go back to the streets, respectfully, the godly streets.
Okay, men, Black men especially, please answer me this. Why is it that many of y'all refuse to go to curated dating events? I'm talking about events where the vibes are already set, the ambiance is right, the music is good, the drinks are flowing. You're basically guaranteed to meet somebody who's actually interested in you and is serious about dating. You're pretty much set up to win. Conversation starters and prompts so there's no awkward silence, a bit of a structured experience, and maybe a little turn up afterward. So my question is it that dating events like this require a certain type of intention and vulnerability, and the patriarchy taught you that pursuing connection with effort somehow makes you less masculine or something? Because the patriarchy told y'all that you're supposed to just stumble into love and not actually prepare for it? Because we see how that's turning out. The women are doing the work. They're showing up, they're investing, they're trying something different, stepping out of their comfort zone, taking risks. Isn't risk-taking a part of masculinity too? So what is it really? Is it the event itself or the unlearning the patriarchy part?
1,000 single women showed up to a church singles event, and only 20, 30 men showed up.
At this point, I don't understand why anyone is still surprised over this. Between the drizzle movement and the bear versus the man argument, and the general huge amounts of men that have been speaking out about how marriage and relationships are just not worth it, and that dating is only ever worth it if you end up finding a unicorn where she's like putting in effort just like you are. With all of that very much known, it is no surprise that men are rather staying home, keeping their peace, chilling, working, or ignoring people.
A lot of men already are losing so much interest in dating. A lot of men won't even date anymore, period. And if we keep treating men the way that we currently do, this is gonna be just a normal thing. All the men who still have hope and are still dating are just gonna stop. We need to come to a middle ground so everybody can be happy in relationships and no one feels used or taken advantage of.
So I have to cancel the singles event that I planned to be on my farm this weekend. Y'all know I'm an event planner and I have a fish farm, and I advertised a Fishing for Love event where singles could come here and fish and have dinner and meet each other in person, not on a dating app. And 5 women RSVP'd yes, and 1 man. And even the 1 man that did RSVP did it through one of the ladies. Now, I did all of my marketing specifically towards men because I knew that the women would RSVP. I promoted the event on 45 different Facebook groups specifically about hunting, fishing, camping, country life, and all local to my area. I know that my post reached over 12,000 people specific to the age group, the gender, and the interests that I just described. And yet, no man RSVP'd. So let's talk about why men are not RSVPing and attending these singles meet and greets. So I read something that said that men are just more spontaneous, they just want to show up, but I don't think that's true because men have no problem buying their season tickets to a football game a year in advance, being on time for their fantasy football event, being at a 7 a.m. golf tee time. So the issue must be that they're just not interested in attending these singles meet and greets. I also read that men don't really like the pressure of meeting a woman in a formal dating experience, and they prefer meeting a woman naturally, like at a bar or a concert. But like, don't we all? Now remember, I chose an event that men love doing, and I get men here every day at my farm fishing. I chose a fishing event because as an event planner, I know that I have to always have something for men to be doing. Men don't enjoy just standing around talking like women do. So that's why I chose fishing as the predominant activity. And yet they still didn't want to come. So I would love to hear from you all as to why you think men don't attend singles events. Because all I hear is them on social media talking about how lonely they are and how they all want to meet a woman and how much they hate the apps. So what do you think?
Did y'all see the video of the girl who went to the singles event and she said when she got there were a lot of beautiful women. The women were drop dead. You know, the women were women as we do. And she said the vast majority of men that were there, they weren't her cup of tea. It's like not a lot of the women's cup of tea. So I'm assuming probably maybe not attractive, tall, money, you know, the things. But she said the other small pocket of men that were there that were the women's type, they were basically acting like they were the prize. And she was like, yeah, singles events are not my thing. Now, here's my take on this. I've never been to a singles event, and I won't say I'll never go, but I will probably say I will never go, okay? The reason being, those singles events, I really feel like they're not giving what a lot of the girls expect them to give. One, more times than not is going to be a large majority of women because women value relationships in a way that men don't. Okay, women look at relationships and seeking companionship in a way that men don't. Not saying men don't value these things, right? I'm just saying we look at it differently. Okay, y'all get it. And before somebody gets in my comments talking about, well, my best friend's sister's baby daddy who's locked up and now out of jail, he found his baby mother at a singles event. Listen, there's always going to be an exception to every rule. Okay, there's always an exception to every rule. But that is not the rule. That is an outlier. And for me, I just can't bring myself to do it. Honestly, I just can't see myself doing the whole, all right, here you're on a date with this person for 5 minutes, and then you're on a date with the next person for 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't even know if that's how it really happens. I don't know if that's just a movie thing or if that's really how it works. How does it work? I will say, though, my friend did go to a singles event, and she said that she literally went there just so she can get comfortable talking to men. She was so introverted. She said, I wasn't going there looking for a man. I was just going there to get comfortable speaking to men. I'm like, girl, okay. I think if you're going there, one, for that, or for a plot, or really to just, get into the dating world, fine. But I think if women are going there like expecting to find their husband, lower the expectations. But yeah, I think if you are actually actively looking for a partner and you're like, man, the men's are not at the single event, they're not gonna be there, girls. Especially the men's you're looking for, they're not gonna be there. Go to the places men's want to be, okay? Go to the bars, go to the sporting events.
Men aren't showing up to speed dating events or dating events in general because the people who create these dating events, these dating event managers, are trash at understanding the concept of product market fit. Honestly, I don't even think they know what their product actually is or what their customer avatar looks like. And I'm saying all this, by the way, as a dating coach. They're direct competition, okay? It doesn't get more honest than this. It's not that they're not spending enough marketing dollars. It's not that they're not going out of their way to try to get men to know about these events and show up. It's that they're forgetting the most important part of running a business, which is psychology. Specifically, understanding the psychology of their ideal customer. These dating event managers don't seem to understand that the kind of men they want to attend their events don't need to attend their events. It'll be ideal for them to be able to make promises to the women that show up and be like, hey, just show up. There's going to be attractive, amazing, high quality, interesting guys there. And of course, women are going to show up for that because despite how desperate it might appear, it's still a steal for them. It's still a lot of value. So it makes sense why the women show up. But then look at it from the point of view of the attractive men that you want to show up. Why would any man who is already attractive to women and gets attention from them pay money to go and get more of what he already gets for free? All you gotta do now to fix this problem is do some thinking and figure out how to make showing up to an event actually beneficial to a man. And believe me, there's legitimately a lot of ways to go about doing this. It's actually not as hard as you might think. In fact, because I'm so nice, here's a free idea right off the dome. Alright, watch this. How about you keep on charging the women a fee to come to the events, right? But you let the men show up for free after a bit of a vetting process. You can't make it all the way free for free. You gotta put some friction in there, a barrier to entry, if you will. I'm literally taking what they have with the clubbing system where they let women in for free and I'm just inverting it. And it will work. Because think about it, the men will show up because one, they're not paying for it. Two, they have nothing to lose. It's risk-free for them. Not a lot of effort and sacrifice on their part. All they have to do is show up and meet a bare minimum barrier to entry. Plus, being able to meet your criteria, your standards, can act like as a psychological boost or validation for them. And because you have that vetting process in place, you can then turn around to the women you take money from and be like, hey, we have a standard vetting process in place. We're not just letting random scragglers off the street. We go well out of our way to hand select the men that you see before you in this event. So you're pretty much guaranteed a good time with new and unique men without having to do all that extra work to vet them yourselves. And that right there is the whole point of good business. Create a win-win. Everybody wins. I'm gonna be honest with you though, that's not even the best idea I could come up with right now, but I'm gonna leave you with that one. It's me, Jason Favorite Scientist, that with all this information, what you must.
There was a story that went viral. I talked about this on Twitter. The New York Times reported this. There was like a, there's a lot of these like single meets, right? Like speed dating and all this other stuff.
Right.
Or like it's an activity. They can never get men to show up. It's always like the guys like don't know about it or don't care to go. And there's always like, a bunch of women. And like at this event, there's like bowling and some activities and shit like that. The women had to pay to go. And the guys were for free. And I was like, oh man, wow. Like the tables are turning. Right? Yeah, the tables are turning. And I think this is what's going to happen, man, because men are much easier to satisfy than women. And women need that social cohesion. They need that, bonding with people and stuff like that. They need that. Men don't. They can play video games all day, whack off, and have an AI robot and be fine. So as this continues more and more, you're seeing more of these like singles events that's like packed with single women, but like no guys are showing up. right? And this literally, it went viral a couple weeks ago, like on the New York Times, like that they had this event and the women were paying to go, dude. Women are going to have to accept that you are never going to be the only girl. That's what I tell girls on the show all the time. Like, if you want a guy that's attractive, that's higher status, that has his stuff together, you're never going to be the only chick, and you need to accept that.
All right, men, listen up. Or should I say boys? I totally just walked past this guy, and he was like checking me out, and then I was checking him out. I kept walking. I look back. He's looking back. I keep walking more. I look back. He's looking back. I'm like, if you just came up to me, maybe we could have gone on a date. Men, please, start asking women out again. I clearly gave you the hints. I gave you the signs. It's not weird. It's not creepy. We're not at the gym or whatever. Like, I was totally into you, and now I'll never know who you are. Guess it wasn't meant to be. But seriously, I'm not saying all men are like this, but like, please, just start being a little more assertive. We're looking for leaders here.
The jury is no longer out. I need to stop doing things for the plot. I am like the prime example of curiosity killed the cat, because the way I just always have to investigate things and see things for myself, it is slowly killing me. I walked into that event last night and I wanted to die. It was so bad that I almost couldn't wait until today to update you guys. I was gonna like do a video last night as soon as I got home, but then I ended up passing out. And of course, a lot of things are all about the perspective, but I'm gonna tell you why for me, it was a big no. So for starters, when you walk in, you have to get a name tag. And that's fine. I guess that's a good thing. But also I was like, what if I don't want someone to know my name? I don't know. And then when I did walk in, I was like, okay, I was wrong. It's not just women here. But the men that were there they were something. I could have turned and walked right back out immediately. And I should have. But I was still waiting on the two girls I was supposed to be meeting there to come. So I was trying not to like bail before they got there. So I tried to walk around by myself for a minute. Thankfully, like a lot of people there were there alone. It was everyone's first time doing it. So I found some cool girls who like invited me over to their table and I got to talk to them for a little bit. But like, even if you were sitting with girls, like guys would always come over and talk. That's the whole point. I get it. But I was just like, I'm kind of just here for the girlies, I think. And so whenever a guy would come, I'm like, this is ruining the vibes. Quite literally, the whole point in being there was to find like like potential people to date. And to me, men being there, I was like, this is going to ruin the tour. Also, everyone was so short. Every single man there was like less than 5'10", or 5'10" or less, I mean. I was taller than all of them. Except one. There was one really, really tall man. None of them are attractive. No one, not one was attractive. Not even like, oh, he could, no, not close. And this is probably one of the meanest things that you would ever hear me say, but there was a man there that looked like the kind of guy you should be afraid of if he was walking towards a school. I have to be vague about this because I don't want TikTok to like ban me. Like quite literally just, he had really long hair and he just kept on like pushing it to the side of his face like it was like 2008. And he was just like walking around with his black clothes on, like with his head down, just pushing his hair out of the way the whole time. Never talked to a woman, ever. I'm like, why are you here? And I know some people are shy, but that was just, it was just bizarre. Eventually, the two girls that I was meeting got there. I liked them. One of them was super outgoing and like very fearless. So when eventually we did see that there was two men there, only two out of all the people that were not completely repulsive, but were sitting at a table the entire time with the same girls. And I was like, oh, like, I feel like they're off the market. They're like taken, like those, they came together. And I was like, wait, that's not the point of this. It's supposed to be only single people. So they're definitely single, but they're not talking to anyone else. So eventually one of the girls, I don't want to call her my friend yet, but she was just like, flagged one of the men down, brought him over, and then she was like, she wants to talk to you. And I was like, so then all three of us girls are holding a conversation with this one guy, which was awkward. It felt like I was on a freaking season of The Bachelor or something. I've never even watched the show, but it felt like we were all like gunning for the same guy, but we weren't, because eventually they found a point in the conversation to both bow out, and I was just left there talking to this man, which was nice. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to be here. So I talked to him for quite a few minutes. I got his number, okay? But I was like, I literally was so honest with him. Like towards the end of the conversation, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna leave. If you want to take my number, you can do that. Like I was like more blunt than I've ever been in my life. Would I go again? Because there's quite literally another one. There's another one next week in St. Louis. If you're interested. I personally will never go again. But also, again, this is about perspective. I don't really want to be dating. I've come to that realization. I don't really have a strong interest in it right now. So that being in that kind of scenario was just not worth it in the least for me. These do happen like all over. You have to like check their app to see what cities they're in. But like if you are interested, I'm like very curious on if like other cities have maybe like better choices. But to me, it felt like the dating app discards. And I was literally looking around like, these are the dating app discards. And then I was looking at like myself and I'm like, is the call coming from inside the house? I am also the dating app discards and I'm here. So needless to say, I was humbled. Do not think I need to do it again. I would have much rather been hanging out with my toddlers and they are insane. Or like completely alone on my couch in a blanket burrito, binge eating snacks and watching Reba. Literally anywhere else.
So I went to a singles event last night in downtown Phoenix. I had seen their events on TikTok and it looked super fun, but it was not what I thought it was gonna be. Like I swear on the TikTok that I saw was that they had you fill out a questionnaire and at some point in the night they like grouped people into groups so that you could mingle and get to know people out of your comfort zone, whatever. That's not what happened last night. It was at Pemberton, but the bar was still open to the public, so the event was just sectioned off in half the bar. But once you got into the event area, it was just like you were at a bar. There was nothing that made it special to a singles event to help you try to get to know people besides everyone in the bar was single. But then to enjoy like Pemberton, you had to go out of the event area to get drinks. So like I paid for a ticket for like a private area of the bar, but it kind of defeated the purpose. I still had a fun night with my girls. I would highly not recommend going by yourself. There was like hundreds of people at this thing. There's no way I could have gone alone.
I would love if we could be honest and rebrand singles events as The Truth, which is a perfect place to meet your brand new platonic best friend. Men don't go to these. Men do not go to singles events. Stop paying money to go to singles events. Men don't go. Stop it.
Have the men given up? I'm serious. They just like stopped. They don't want to have sex anymore. They don't want to go on dates with women. They just want to hang out with their boys. Like, look, I get it. Men want to hang out with men. They want to do their thing. They don't want to care about women drama anymore. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain to me what's going on, because as long as men are not approaching women, they are going to be single. And women are having a great time. From what I've seen, single women are having a great time. Yes, maybe they want boyfriends, they want to hook up, but single women are having a great time. The single men, I don't know, not so much. What do you think?
Okay, so I recently went to a singles event and it was 90% women. And I was wondering, like, where's all the dudes? I don't know, but they're not there. And that's cool, not like I care.
If you think this singles event was wild, wait until you see how modern marriage turned into a high-risk business contract. Click the video on your screen right now to see why high-value men are choosing peace over drama. See you there.